this domestic violence stuff isn't as simple as some people make out. Okay, here we go. Malcolm Turnbull, our Prime Minister, says one of the ways, I think Mike Baird says it too, the Premier, says what men need to do is to start having respect for women. And as if that's why domestic violence happens.
Some women bash men up too.
Yes, putting aside that tiny minority of gender equality where the woman says, you do what I tell you, otherwise I'm going to get the rolling pin to you.
It's actually,
I'm not talking about that.
Okay. It's a large minority.
There are some men who will knock their wives about and their children because they suffer from a mental illness and they might, for one reason or another, forget to take their tablets. If you take these drugs because you're severely depressed or you're schizophrenic or whatever, bipolar, if you take these drugs, they solve the problem. They might fix up the depression, they might let you hear not as many voices, well, whatever, but you always feel, these people have told me, that you're under some sort of control. Not because someone's prescribed it, you have the choice as to whether to take these tablets. You can only be prescribed the drugs, so you go and buy them, and it's up to you whether to take them or not. And sometimes it just seems as if it's too much control, and therefore these people risk by not taking their medication, and that's when it's trouble for all. So what I'm saying is some people are going to bash their wives, bash their children, bash their front door in, put their fist through a glass window because they are ill. And in our society at the moment, in Sydney, there are not many places where you can get help if you are like that. There are some, but they fill up pretty quickly and they like to usher you through very fast.
They used to have Callum Park.
They used to have much exactly. They used to have much more. They don't, because there was a crazy magistrate or judge, what was his name, Robinson, I'm not sure about that, many years ago, said that the community can look after these people. The community can look after them. Oh yeah, that's ridiculous. But that's why we have a lot of people who should be being looked after in psychiatric institutions are not. And I reckon some husbands, not all, I'm not even saying it's a big percentage, some husbands will lose it because they are sick, and their wives probably know it as well and dread the day. And I bet Rosie Batty is one of these, where her husband had mental illness issues. To actually get a cricket bat and smash your son's head in doesn't seem to even be the behaviour of a bully or anything like that. It seems to be the behaviour of a mentally ill guy. Right, got some other ways of looking at domestic abuse. All this is to show that the simplistic answers that politicians give, well, men should have more respect for women. Yeah, sure, but it's much deeper than that. Some relationships, I would say most relationships, start off, sort of full of love and commitment and our love is forever and let's put something in the paper for Valentine's Day and let's make babies together. I think a lot of relationships probably start off like that, certainly with a lot of love professed. But things can go wrong as people change and develop. People change, and I couldn't think of something more frustrating and soul-destroying to be trapped in a relationship with children and the couple no longer can get on together. You probably know of marriages where there are triggers for discussions that turn into raging arguments that the neighbours can hear. Does that mean the husband can punch the wife's face in? Of course not. But since that they know the triggers, they should be helped to recognise it and not do all those things. They should steer away from all the things that set off their rows and, with help, learn how to avoid the triggers. Okay. That $200 was that a federal government thing where people could apply for it and get it to go into marriage counselling? That's a good idea in principle. $200, that's all like a half hour. Come in, $10, how are you? $10, sit down, $20, because there are two of you, and the money gets chewed up very quickly. I think this business of the situation of domestic abuse has lots of roots and lots of causes, and society needs to look at it a bit more deeply than men should respect women. They certainly should, and women should respect men and look for deeper causes to these things.